what's up? Today, I'm gonna show you the greatest French toast recipe of all time. Over the last couple of weeks, I've tested breads, custards, bake times, sear times, and all kinds of other random variables, all in the pursuit of the best flavor, best texture, and best process. In this video, I'm gonna show you my perfected recipe and a little bit of the research and development so you can get a feel for what works and what doesn't if you wanted to make this recipe your own. Also, if you're new to this channel and you're wondering why I might be qualified to show you how to make the greatest of anything, my name's Brian. I used to be a restaurant chef and I've been developing recipes professionally for well over 10 years, and this French toast recipe is a really good one. To get started, I'll need some challah bread. Challah bread is a Jewish holiday bread that's great for French toast because its crumb is fluffy and soft, but not so soft that it falls apart when saturated with custard. Its firmness comes from having a lot of extra eggs in the dough. The added protein from those eggs brings some extra structure that plain white breads just don't have. I got my challah at Whole Foods, but international grocery stores are also a good place to look. If you can't find it, I would say sub in fluffy brioche. Brioche is super flavorful, but very soft, so you'll need to soak it for about half as long as you would the challah. A third option that is super widely available and still passable is Texas toast, which is essentially white bread that's sliced thicker. I'll show you guys the results for all three of these breads later in this video, and I'll list soak times for all three down in the description or over at my website. Now to prep this challah, I'll slice it down into 8 slices that are between 1 and 1 1/4 inch thick. For me, thicker is always better when it comes to French toast because it stands up to being soaked with custard a lot better than the thin pre-sliced sandwich bread available at the grocery store. And once I've got this bread knocked down into chunky slices, I'll grab a wire rack, drop it on my sheet tray, then lay out all 8 of my slices 4x2. Next, I'll load my sheet tray into a 180F oven to dry out the bread for 30 minutes in total, but I'll set a 15-minute timer and then check back. After 15 minutes, I'll come back and flip this bread over so that it dries more evenly. I'm toasting the bread because it makes the French toast a little bit chewier, which sounds like a bad thing, but trust me, you don't want French toast with no texture. When you make French toast with untoasted, soft, fresh bread, it's, in my opinion, very soggy and too soft. It kind of just falls apart on your plate. Now, just set one more 15-minute timer and mention if you wanted to delete 30 minutes off this recipe and passively prep the bread, lay it out on a sheet tray the night before you want to make French toast and let it dry on top of your fridge for 8 hours. Now, while that bread finishes drying, let's make the custard. Into a medium bowl, I'll combine 6 large eggs with 120 grams of brown sugar, 5 grams vanilla extract, 2 grams cinnamon, 6 grams salt. Then I'll grab my microplane and zest in a little bit of nutmeg. I think nutmeg amplifies the cinnamon flavor a little bit and overall brings a little bit of mystery to the custard's flavor, but a little bit goes a long way. I'm using maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon here. Now I'll jump into the bowl with a whisk and stir until the eggs, sugar, and everything else are well combined. Mixing this without the dairy part ensures that there are no clumps of unmelted brown sugar or egg white stuck in the custard. Once that's all homogeneous, I'll add in 450 grams of half and half and then stir to combine. I'll mention that I tried this recipe with heavy cream to see if I could get just a little bit more flavor going on, but heavy cream makes French toast that's kind of frumpy and all around just too heavy. Plus the extra dairy fat kind of coats your mouth and it leaves a bit of a film that is unpleasant at best. Okay, once my custie's all whisked up, I'll snatch my dried bread out of the oven. A good way to determine if it's French toast ready is to scrape it. As you can hear, it's got a crusty outside and a little bit of a hollow sound. Basically, we want the bread to be stiffened because this is going to allow it to hold on to a substantial amount of custard. Speaking of custard, I'm gonna pour about half of it into a 1/4 sheet tray or shallow baking dish. Spreading it out allows for more even soaking than trying to smush a bunch of bread slices into a sloped bowl. Next, I'll snuggle up 2 pieces into the custard and then soak them on the first side for 2 minutes. Ooh, and whatever dish that you use, the custard should be about 1/3 of the way up the side of the bread. If you're making brioche French toast, soak your toasted slices for 30 seconds per side. If you're using Texas toast, I'd say go for 1 minute per side. Back in my challah, after 2 minutes, I'm gonna flip that over and soak it on the back side for another 2 minutes or for about 4 to 4.5 minutes in total. Ideally, I want the custard to saturate the bread to about 1/4 of an inch. This is gonna give us just a little bit of a line of unsoaked bread right in the middle, which for me is ideal. But if you prefer a super eggy, dense French toast, then soak your bread for about 3 to 4 minutes per side. This will drench it with custard and you will have a very substantial but kind kinda heavy result. Now, once these things are soaked, I'm gonna carefully move them over to a plate so they don't get too wet. Then, before I get into cooking these things, I wanna touch on the best piece of equipment for the job, which in my opinion is a 12-inch nonstick frying pan from Made In, who's sponsoring this video. Made In designs pro quality products for the home cook, and that's exactly what you're looking for when it comes to a good nonstick pan. The nonstick surface on this thing is double cured, and it's one of the best nonstick surfaces that you could possibly cook on. The pan itself under that coating is made with the same composition of Made In's 5-ply stainless steel line, so you're getting really nice even heating that will crisp up the custard soaked bread and give us the sear that we're looking for without sticking or deflating the toast. This pan is really easy to clean too. Just a quick soapy wipe out is all you need and you're good to go. I've been using Made In products for about 2.5 years now, both at home and on this YouTube channel, and I can confirm that it is a really great product and I highly recommend it. Check out the nonstick collection and Made In's other cookware by using the link in my description to save on your order. And once my nonstick pan is nice and warm, I'll add in a generous ziggy of neutral oil, then a tablespoon of butter. I'm using both fats because the oil keeps the butter from burning as quickly and it browns the French toast more evenly. And once this pan is well coated, I'll drop in both pieces of my 4-minute soaked French toast and fry for about 4 minutes on the first side. When it comes to cooking French toast, low and slow is the way to go because we're trying to fry the bread and cook the custard throughout. If you brown it too quickly, then you're gonna have raw egg batter in the middle of your toast. Another note is that as I cook this, I'm making sure to keep the French toast moving pretty frequently so that I can get super even browning. The eggs underneath are sending out a lot of steam and that makes the bread puff and not touch the pan evenly. So moving the toast around and even rotating the pan helps a lot. And after about 4 minutes, this French toast is looking sick as hell. So I'll flip them over real quick, then fry on the backside slowly for about 4 minutes as well. Oh yeah, at this point, I'm also gonna drop 2 more toasts into my custard and soak for 2 minutes on each side or 4 minutes in total. And after 8 minutes of total cook time, I'll check the backside and that is just a disgusting level of golden brown. Wow. Now to serve this, I'm gonna stack my toasts onto a plate, then top with some salted whipped butter. This is an homage to the whipped butter that you get on the side of your French toast at any American diner. To make it, I'll slide 230 grams or 2 sticks of softened butter into a stand mixer, then 2 grams of salt goes in, I'll attach the paddle, then I'll spin the heck out of this butter or until it's whipped up into frosty white peaks. Adding whipped butter to this whole setup is a little bit extra, but it's a touch that makes the experience just a little bit more epic. Now to finish, I'm gonna drizzle a significant amount of dark 100% maple syrup on top of this toast, then take a brief pause to let that salted butter lazily melt into the hot toast. If you were planning on using brioche or Texas toast, here's a quick snapshot of the results that you can expect. In my opinion, the Texas toast is actually the better option of the two. It's got a little bit more structure, better texture, and I think better flavor. The brioche was just too fluffy, and if you're not careful, it can kind of fall apart after cooking. Back to the Challah French toast. In my opinion, this French toast is perfect, and it's the greatest that I've ever had. It's soft, it's eggy, it's a little bit crispy around the edges, and it's got that mystical French toast flavor that's really hard to describe. Jesus Christ, that tastes good. It's part maple, part cooked eggs, and part toasty bread. If you guys are into meticulously tested greatest of all time recipes, then please check out this video for goat pancakes. I think you're gonna dig it. I'll see you there. Now, let's eat this thing.